Hey everyone, how are we doing? Yeah, it might seem a bit strange. I've got a different backgroundy thing. I've made a PowerPoint presentation, guys. I mean, it's not a PowerPoint presentation, it's a presentation that's using a different program, but you know what I mean. But today we are going to look at text replacement prompts. So I hope you all are ready to join me for the ride. We're just gonna have a bit of fun, look at some editing, see how we can kind of get the most of our writing kind of as we're going along. So these might be some techniques that you use while writing if you don't like prose as it comes out, but you just want to like tweak it. Or it might be stuff that you use when you come back into the scene. Like at the moment, I'm doing a lot of editing with my work. So it's kind of like I like to use the text replacement prompts when there's like a little bit of a section that needs like playing around with, but it's not like a full developmental edit. So we've done a lot, I think, in like chat, kind of analyzing prose, but at this point, it's more taking the nitty gritty and playing with that, you know. But yeah, so I hope you all enjoy this ride with me. Uh, boop. So yeah, why I love the text replacement prompts is it means you can edit your prose without leaving the manuscript. You can maintain your focus in your writing session, especially if you've got your kind of go-to presets or prompts pre-made, so that you can kind of get everything kind of going. Um, it's all inline, so you don't have to worry about like other windows and bits and bobs. You can just kind of get them there. They're highly customizable, both through presets and through kind of making your own, and very easy to access that way. And I find they're really intuitive. Like you highlight the text, you click your prompt, and bam, the prompt happens. Um, I think if you've used like ChatGPT or similar softwares, you kind of have an idea of how this works. So it's quite familiar if you're coming over to Novelcrafter as well. Hello to everyone, Dylan, Emery, Jean Luc, and Jules. Lovely to have you all here. Okay, so Novelcrafter has three inbuilt prompts, system prompts that we use for text replacement. We are not limited to these. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. This is just what we have as our kind of like starting point for you all. Um, there is expand for when you want more from the prose that you've got, whether that's just expanding and adding more words, or if you're wanting to go in and add more description or dialogue or something, anything where you're wanting the word count to increase in the selected piece of prose. If you like the length of the prose, but you don't want to change, but you want to change it still, then rephrase is where you would go. Um, you could change the tense, the perspective, work around a few things like that. And then there is also shorten for when you want the text to be shortened, punchy, and kind of like cut out the flowery language, remove extraneous like descriptions or emotional tells, that kind of thing. Well, perfect for your essay if you are editing a story now. And there is always a pupper. He's just lying at my feet at the moment. Um, he sometimes likes going kind of underneath the desk. So there is always a pupper somewhere. He's also hiding from the Hoover. Okay, so next. So I'm going to go into the three system prompts, kind of talk a little bit more in detail about them, and then we're going to get started looking at the those prompts, looking at presets that we can make, and then also going into developing our own prompts. So if anyone has any creative ideas for ways to use the text replacement prompts, let us know in the chat, because we can try and experiment, or even if you've got theories for how they could be used, that would be cool. So the expand prompt. This expands the text further by fleshing out the details, descriptions, and adds more context to the scene. There are some presets that, or like inputs, there are some codex inputs that you can use with this. However, by default, it's just expand the text. I have a model collection, hence why these models are showing. You can tweak your own model collections. There will be a video out on that shortly, but you can do that yourself if you're seeing models that you don't currently have access to. So the inputs for expand include lengthen the length by which you lengthen the prompt. So whether like you're doubling, quadrupling, and you can change that. So you might be like, you've got a paragraph and you really want to like flesh this out. You could definitely do that with an expand prompt. And then there are also like some extra descriptors. So to add feeling, introspection, and sensory details to the prose that is already there. So this, to our right of this image, just where I am, this is, I have taken this prose and then copied and pasted it and expanded that just to show you how different the two paragraphs look. So this was insane. I was in the back of a van with a woman who might be brilliant or might be having a complete breakdown, about to let her attach experimental technology to my brain. This was utterly certifiably insane. I was trapped in the back of a speeding van that reeked of stale coffee and electronic components with a woman who might be a misunderstood genius or might be in the throes of a complete psychological breakdown. And I was genuinely about to let her attach experimental technology that had allegedly killed 3 people and driven 2 more mad, directly into my brain. The van hit another pothole and I gripped the equipment rack harder, wondering exactly when my journalistic instincts had been overridden, had overridden my basic sense of self-preservation. So this is actually, looking at it, because the expand prompt looks back on previous prose written, it's pulled in the fact that they're in a van that's speeding, or like that it's a speeding van. They've pulled in the allegedly killed people bits and brought that in. There are some errors with continuity, but that's like something for me to edit. But like you can see that it's pulling in. It's not just trying to add more words. It's trying to make it tie in with the narrative. Next, we have the rephrase prompt. This has some instructions already kind of here in the dropdown, and its aim is to imitate and keep the current writing style and leave mannerisms, word choice, and sentence structure intact. So if you wanted to do otherwise, you would then put that into the instructions yourself, but the default instructions are kind of wanting to keep the prose as it is, just change the phrasing. So we have like things like add inner thoughts, convert to dialogue, to active voice, to change the point of view or tense, whether that's first or third, and also like a show don't tell preset. I believe with this, I asked it to just use other words. One of the presets is to use different words. So this is madness. I was in the rear of a vehicle with a woman who could be a genius or could be suffering a total mental collapse, about to allow her to connect untested equipment to my mind. You can see that it's basically the same paragraph, but it's switched words around. So this particular use different words could be good if you've got a sentence that like is very AI heavy, like, and you're wanting to like change the things like my heart racing or something like that. You could maybe use it in that instance. And finally, we have the shorten prompt. This rewrites the text you have and puts it into fewer words and without losing the meaning, because that's a big thing. We don't want to just have like something completely random come out. We want the prose of the story we're telling to remain, you know what I mean? So they have 3 presets built in. So to half the length, to quarter the length, and to use 1 paragraph. Obviously, if you're doing a lot more writing, like you've got a bigger piece of prose that you're editing at once, you're then going to want to tweak these things. You might play with the presets. You might add extra instructions. But in this example, we've got, this was insane, letting a potentially unstable genius attach experimental brain technology in a speeding van. Like, that has condensed it. It's perhaps lost some of the personality in this instance, but it's still carrying and conveying the meaning and what I wanted from the prose. So it has shortened it by about half. And Novelcrafter works by counting the words in the selected prose and then telling the AI what 1/2 or 1/4 is. so that it has a bit more to go on. Like the AI doesn't have to do the step of counting. So that's kind of cool. Like we're kind of saving you a little bit of work in the background. So yes, the plan. It's funny because this comment from Space appeared after I'd finished explaining about that very feature. Minds think alike. But yeah, the plan today, we're going to make some presets for the system text replacement prompts and look at some ones I've already got. We're going to concept some editing prompts that we can try. If anyone has anything they want us to try with text replacement prompts, then yeah, just hit us up. Like I'm happy to experiment as well. This part of the live stream is going to be a bit more free flowing. We're going to be playing around with stuff. I just kind of wanted to get the introduction out of the way. Oh, no worries. I'm just, we're both on the same wavelength. It was just funny reading it. Yeah, AI is not good at counting. Some models are better than others, but it's the more help we can give AI, the better. Okay, so let me hop into Novelcrafter. I have a chapter that I was working on with my discovery writing series, and I've highlighted some bits that I kind of want to change. Now, I can't remember everything that I wanted to change with it, so we're going to have a little look. But I thought, well, let's go into the prompts and see what kind of prompts we can get. So I have a few that I'm playing around with and some that I've got from others. But some of my favorite presets, I have as a rephrase preset, I have simplify. So this I use especially for non-fiction writing. Let me zoom in. And it's essentially simplify the language and remove any redundant or repeated text. Make the text accessible to the reader and not overly wordy. So if you're doing like non-fiction, I like using this even with my own writing, like my own handwriting, because I'll often use technical terms. And I think if you have any knowledge in a field, you'll use terms that the average layperson won't understand necessarily. So it's a good way of going about it. I also have a dialogue preset for the rephrase prompt, which says rephrase the prose using dialogue-heavy text with sparse description, maintain tone and style. Okay, Jean-Luc says, what would be fun is a prompt to clean dialogue tags or AI-isms. Yeah, so this kind of thing would work for that. We can have maybe a play around. I also have an add examples. So this is for an expand prompt, and I use it a lot for nonfiction. And literally all I've put is add more examples. There is nothing else. It is not a fancy thing. It's just add more examples. And then I was trying out a rewrite to make the humor American, change idioms, etc. That was like we were playing around seeing, because like when you put British English and then the humor, it was kind of leaning in that way. So they're the presets that I've got. Tracky McTrackface. Wait, where have I got that? Did I close something and now I'm like, oh my god, what did I call Tracky McTrackface? Oh my god, what did I? Oh, on the left. Oh. Yeah, so in the story I was showing in the last prose, the last live stream, how you can track a word and use that as a way of editing or just seeing how often something comes up, like rather than AI-isms, just like if you have a bad habit, and then so I just called it Tracky McTrackface in the codex. Yeah, I like things that make me smile. I thought you were like a prompt. I was like, I don't have one, but that would be a great prompt. So maybe that can be our let's go. Let's add a rephrase, add a preset. We're going to call this remove AI. I don't know if this will work because obviously we've not got the codex, but remove words that rephrase to remove words that come up at a high rate in AI training data. For example, and then I might do, let's do some bullet points. I'm going to pick an AIism. I'm trying to think of something that's easy to. That I believe is an Angie prompt. It's a prompt I got from somewhere else. Maybe cat. I'm going to confess I've not used it because I don't write dirty prose usually, but I wanted to try it out and then never got around to it. So maybe she trembled goes to what are the wait replacing them with more interesting phrases or words that convey the story. For example, she trembled, she pulled the jacket tighter around her. Then I might go, his heart skipped a beat, goes to something like that. We're just trying something out. We're throwing them out there. I'm going to choose a model. So we've got the here is because on the rephrase prompt we have the default text replacement. So I'm going to attach a collection, Kate's faves, or Kate's models, I guess, for this, and Sonnet 4.5 we'll use, just because I'm using that for writing. So now if I go into write, I could say, I'm trying to now look for something that has an AIism in it. So I'm just gonna, it might not be this chapter. This hasn't got many. Let me full act. So let's see how it works on this. So I'm going to copy the thing in advance. What we're calling this, remove AI. So I'll apply that and then I'll just paste the thing before. So it's got rid of the tension. That's been the only that's the only change there, which is interesting. I would agree with that. Strain is probably what I would use more than that. I've got a lot of like AIisms and stuff have already been like taken out. So I'm gonna try this. Remove AI. Okay, so this has changed. Instead of chasing a story through London's arteries, it's just been like through London's underground. So it's kind of removed like the cheesiness, I guess, of like that. Let's see. And so you may have noticed that there was a when I selected the text, there's a little play icon, and that's because I've selected a model, so that rather than having to go through the like click, select a model. It just goes straight there. Yeah, I prefer that, the change, so I can just go and add these things. If I was to try and maybe do this as a prompt, I would be like, oh, I also have a transitioning prompt, which I'll go into in a sec, but let's look at the dialogue-y thing. So we wanted, so Jean-Luc, was it Jean-Luc? Clean dialogue tags. So let's go again to rephrase, new preset. We're going to try this time something like dialogue-y, baloney dialogue-y. Again, I'll use Sonnet 4.5. You don't have to just use this model. Actually, let's try with Mistral. I'm going to add in, I don't know why I've not got Mistral Medium 3.1. We'll use that. Also, if I go off, I can just go back to the prompts I've been looking at. So last modified, Aloni, add instructions. Remove dialogue tags, replacing them with an and either one, replace them with a action beat. Yeah, Mistral is great. Like I do like Mistral. I really like it for summarizing. Like Mistral is my favorite summarization model. It's so underrated. I really like its summarizations. I use it a bit for prose writing, but summarization is just like, it gets the points that I'm trying to do. So yeah, really, surprising me. Like I root for Mistral to go on people's like watch lists. Absolutely. So this, again, we're just playing around, we're testing things. My text is really simple. It's remove dialogue tags and either replace them with an action beat or remove them entirely. That's it. We might have to write something ourselves to get maybe then I'd actually go into the prompt and be like, infer from the dialogue and surrounding text what would logically make sense when writing any additional prose. There you go. So space, for anyone wondering about Mistral Medium versus Mistral Large, Mistral has a blog post about how the new Medium is the old Large in terms of capabilities, and I absolutely agree. It's newer, which helps, but also it just is really good, and it's cheaper. Yeah, but yeah, Medium 3.1 is, I would advise, over Large 12, Large 2. Just FYI. Okay, let's go into write. I think I had some kind of scene where, yeah, see, this is the issue where Claude 4.5 hasn't done many things. So what I'm going to do, is take this prose, just add a new scene. That's because I'm in the entire chapter view that I was able to do that. I'm going to delete the scene beat. I'm going to take this prose and just be like, okay. I know the text is already clean. I'm having to unclean it up. Let's just see how this does. So Aloni dialogue. So it's kind of come with additional bits here. So that, I mean, like, it does work. I would perhaps edit this maybe to be like, because this is a rephrase, not an expand, that's causing a little bit, like, it's not working quite as well as I'd want it to in terms of adding text, which makes sense. We're rephrasing. So what I'm going to do is take my text replacement prompt for the Aloni dialogue. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm then going to go into the expand prompt and add a preset. Aloni longer dialogue. I know these are silly names. It makes me happy when doing these, just to have something a bit silly, you know. And then I'm going to say, as long as needed to convey the story, but not anymore. This might not work. I'm testing things out already. I'm just testing things out, but we're going to go in. Yeah, these models really like their voice qualifiers. Yeah. So that might also be something. Okay, so here we've already got some more. Here I kept my voice low. Qualify. They shuttered the same corridor. So this is already kind of. She stopped so abruptly. Someone behind us swore. Her hands clenched around a handbag strap. It's adding in more descriptions. Oh, thank you, Jules. I very appreciate. But yeah, I like this a lot more. The descriptions. But I'm going to go in. I quite liked Jean-Luc's comment of voice qualifiers. So I'm going to where possible, avoid voice qualifiers, e.g., her voice was flat, flat, sharp, low, etc. So, you know, we're going to now try again. We're testing, seeing how things go. I think this is using Claude. I'll switch to using Mistral after. Okay, I mean, it's still had some qualifiers, but So I'm going to change again. You know, I think when making a prompt, you've got to be iterative. It's never going to be perfect the first time. Remove dialogue tags and voice qualifiers. So I'm just going to see if just putting it in there, changing where I've put it. We'll just keep going. Still not great, but I'm not mad. It's an all right, it's doing its thing. We're still playing around. Let's change this to Mistral 3.1. Okay, this is adding a lot more text. So if I was changing this, I'd be like, okay, well, this is not followed the instruction of only as much as needed, but also it depends on what you're looking for. Yeah, Dylan says, I find that asking the AI how to redo the prompt is very useful as well. Stick in what I have, explain what I need it to do, that it's not, and test the updated one. So we can see the Mistral as being a little bit like, so we're going to play around with that a little bit more. So I'm going to take this prompt. I might change the I'm just see not too much. I'm kind of curious. Let's go into chat. My favorite model with general chat is Gemini 2.5 Pro if I'm going to try and get it to like do a task. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm writing a text replacement prompt that takes a given piece of text and removes voice, what was it? Qualifiers and oh my god, what's it called? You know, you just can't remember what it's called. Where was Jean-Luc's dialogue tags? Replacing them with dialogue beats. Can you help me improve it? My prompt so far. And then I'm going to take this, highlight it, and stick it as a block quote. So we've got the pop-up menu. If you didn't know, doing that, you can do that in chat. Yeah. John Luke's saying maybe give examples. Models do better with that. Yeah, that would probably be my next point of call. Gemini might suggest that as well. So be interesting. Okay, so ideas. State the why to do the overall goal. State the goal is to increase reader immersion, reveal character, build tension. Idea, emphasize subtext. Explicitly ask the AI to use the action beat to show what the character is not saying. Instruct the AI to craft beats that are unique to the character speaking. Control the pacing. Demand sensory details. Use internal monologue. Connect to motivation. Heighten the push-pull dynamic. Provide a style guide. Use negative constraints. Okay. Right. So let's have a look. So I'm going to take this, go to the actions menu, split it to the left. No, I'm not. I'm going to go into my prompts, pin it. Aloni longer dialogue. I'm going to go up. Revise the following text. Your primary objective is to. I'm going to reword this, I think, but I'm just going to take this. I have like you can look at like I can edit it later. So one, analyze the dialogue and surrounding text to understand the characters. I'm just going to get rid of that. The tone is blank because obviously I can't. Oh my god, space. Yeah, I hate the bug so much. Like when I was recording for videos, I get in the way all the time. Where possible, replace the dialogue tag or qualifier with meaningful action. This must reveal subtext, reinforce characterization, incorporate sensory details to ground the scene, heighten the push-pull dynamic between the characters, and if the dialogue is rapid and the speaker is obvious, remove the tags entirely to increase the pace. The prose must be concise, clear, and direct. Use strong verbs, avoid cliches and unnecessary adverbs. Now, this is an expand prompt preset. So if we go on to it, we can actually see in the instructions that we have the codex. One sec. Novelcrafter codex. So if you go in, it will include the codex. So like it's got my story genre here, and the point of view. But if I highlight text and it has any characters mentioned, for example, Gwen said, it then pulls them in, so you kind of get a bit more context for everything. So I think that's kind of cool. So let's try that. So the Aloni dialogue I was going to edit and add in this example. Let's see. So I'm going to take this so I've done a heading example, original, new, I'll select this, stick it as a block quote. So you can still format in your presets as well, which makes things so much easier to like when editing. Let's see how this does. So we'll highlight the same bit. This is with Mistral still, so we'll try this. Okay, this Mistral does have a thing sometimes where it puts italics for dialogue. I'm not sure where it gets that quirk from, but that is something. But yeah, we are getting a lot more description now. I'm going to try this with Claude, see if it's doing better with the length, because it might be in this instance. Let me see first. Yeah, so this is an issue where some not an issue, but some models are a lot more wordy than others. So I, in this case, would take this and stick it into my Aloni dialogue. I'm then going to take this and put it to Mistral Medium and try actually with just seeing if having it as a rephrase prompt instead of a expand prompt helps. Yeah, so instantly, because it's not being told to expand the text, it's sticking to it a lot more. And we've not got the weird bold or italics. Yeah, Mistral loves bold as well, yeah. No idea, just crazy. But yeah, so sometimes you might find that models are a lot wordier than others. And in that case, you just want to like work out what is causing it. So in this case, just switching it from from an expand to a rephrase prompt has given us the same thing that we wanted, and we didn't need to make that change for Sonnet. So it's kind of like it's something worth keeping an eye on when editing your work. If I go into chapter 7 now and have a little look, you can also kind of alter these on the go. I wanted to change this. So I've highlighted it all. I'm going to go to rephrase, tweak and generate. And I want to make this this prose more sassy from Gwen's point of view. She is not a gamer and so is judging a lot of this startup that she's being forced to go through and doesn't understand much of it. So we're going to try that. I'll go Sonnet 4.5 again, and then I'm going to click generate. And now this isn't a prompt that I would necessarily make a preset because I don't need this specific instruction a lot of the time, but yeah, I could also do shorten. I would be tempting, but my reflection on what passed for it in this bizarre digital purgatory. Hover to my left, rotating slowly. Generic features, placeholder body, the digital equivalent of a shop mannequin waiting to be dressed. Watching this hollow version of myself pirouette in space felt oddly perverse. The first menu item, pulse gently, customize appearance. I reached out my hand, moved smoothly, naturally, no lag between thought and action, and tapped through the different options with increasing impatience. Hair color, eye color, height, build. Did any of this matter? This was meant to be a 15-minute demonstration, not a bloody immersive dress-up game. I selected options at random, barely registering what I chose. My mind still half caught in the wrongness of how I got here. Tiger's reassurance is the sedative. The way my body had simply stopped responding. Skills and abilities appeared next, a sprawling tree of options that would have made a spreadsheet enthusiast weep with joy. I skimmed the categories: combat, stealth, magic, crafting, social, investigation, noting absently that someone had put considerable thought into this nonsense. Investigation branched into subcategories: analysis, interrogation, research, pattern recognition, deduction. Ironic, really. My actual investigative skills hadn't prevented me walking straight into whatever this was. I selected investigation without reading the details, and then added perception and something called sensory attunement because the icon looked vaguely interesting, and I was already bored witless. A few more taps, stealth, agility, something under magic called resonance that sounded marginally useful, and the menu dissolved. Like, instantly, that, I really like that. And say if I wanted to use this, like, for this next bit, I could make a preset. I can go into, like, my prompts. I can go to recently used. So we know that it was a rephrase. I have my model here. I could add this as a preset, this test. And it just means you can kind of get into things really quickly. I think for this, I was wanting to do something similar. I was wanting to have here. So I'm going to go expand, tweak and generate. And I'm going to double the length and make Gwen feel disorientated at how quickly the world shifts. She's needing to get used to moving in this new VR world. Everything feels weird. She judges everything. And then I'm going to correct my spellings. Double the length. You got an itchy neck, baby. He's got an itchy neck. Generate. Okay, so I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, I'm then going to change this. So what I did was here, I was in the tweak. If I go into edit, it shows recently used values as well. So I can kind of go into that, copy that. I'm going to say then add in new actions amongst her reorientation. I'm actually going to copy that. I think I'm just going to select this paragraph. What you doing? And let's try Mr. Medium. You okay there? That didn't double the length. I'm going to go with Mistral is very talkative today. And I'm not even going to read that because slight F. Let's try that with Sonnet. Sometimes models just like to talk. They really like to talk. Sonnet 4.5 is actually pretty chatty as well. So I would get there was, and I would get rid of that. Boom, done. I'm going to try this and then do I want to try maybe like my simplify prompt, which just kind of is a version of rephrase. I just want to get rid of anything. Let's just copy that. Discard. Okay, yeah, so it did change things. Let's see what it changed. I stood at the edge of forest, shouldn't exist. Trees stretching. Hi, they're trying to identify. Okay, yeah, so it's kind of sharpened up the words, but you can just take your presets and take everything and just kind of like play around, add things in. Okay, so this I wanted to do with one of the prompts that I've been playing around with was a transitioning prompt. It's for the expand prompt. And literally it's when given text, expand and write a transition between the paragraphs separated by transitions. The expansion should follow the story and tie the two paragraphs together cohesively. Rules: keep the original text and paragraph structure, add prose between them. Maintain the tone and voice and structure of the current prose. So if we go into the right, transitions, and I'm going to select this, go into my transitioning prompt because I couldn't remember which one it was. And then I'm going to click generate. Okay, so it's still added in the transitions. So this would be a point where I'd be like, okay, interesting. It has bridged the gap. I would then, okay, go off. Let's go and edit this prompt. Go into transitioning. Let's just go double the length then. Just see how it does. Darling, how about no? Good. I mean, it is definitely, it's added a transition. It's adding more length. So this might be something that you'd want to play around with length. Maybe just say like, add one paragraph. Let's give that a go. Let's give that a go. So I'm just copying this because I didn't add it. I didn't save my other preset, my transitioning preset. So I'm going to change that. And it did correct. So that's good. Add one paragraph. I'm going to see how it does that. So presets, transitioning. Yeah, okay. So we've got this. It's saying, I move deeper and the thoughts settle like ice on my chest. Okay. Okay, I mean, it added 2 paragraphs, but it's doing better. It's added something in between. It knows what it's doing. I mean, I like this actually. I like the some thought of like, what happens when reality becomes malleable. Bit of philosophy, bit of psychology. Feels very Gwen. I would maybe actually take this and be like, and take this and rephrase, tweak and generate. I'm going to use actually one of the presets that I did here. So I'm not going to use this full thing, but make this prose. Make sure her observations are from a judgy perspective who doesn't necessarily understand what she is seeing and the purpose of building up such an elaborate world. And like with this, we're not even touching custom prompting. This is entirely in presets, and yet we're doing like really cool changes. And it's helping when editing, just being like, okay, we've got some prose, it works. There's just something not quite right. There's definitely a lot of judging. I would probably simplify some of the language. I would like, this. There was 1,000 eyes observed. Where was my AIE one? Remove the AIE. I'm kind of curious, is it 1,000 eyes? No. Okay, let's see instead if maybe simplify. No, but that's fine. Sometimes it doesn't work as well. But I think we've kind of got a good start. This, I wanted to kind of have him interact with more people or like make him interact more. I think that was kind of like but it's not a biggie. I'm going to increase this and actually use the rephrase prompt I had before. Let's try Mr. Medium. Standing floating in what looked like the love child of a high-budget fantasy game and a corporate away-day nightmare. You know the kind where some sad IT bloke named Dave spent his lunch break fine-tuning his elf's eyebrow arch because obviously that's key to virtual fulfillment. Except this wasn't some pathetic little 2D pop-up on a monitor. It was everywhere, wrapped around me like a second skin, seeping into my peripheral vision no matter how hard I tried to look away. Like being trapped inside a screensaver designed by someone who had way too much espresso. Brilliant. Just brilliant, because nothing said serious investigative journalism like being forcibly drafted into dungeons and drag your feet. I mean, rude about Dungeons and Dragons, but also this is like the kind of sass I want. Gwen's not the most likable. She's not a gamer, but not that those two things are related. They were unconflated bits of information, but like it's there. It's cool. And I think at this point, does anyone have any questions or any final thoughts that they want to share with everyone before we head off? I think this is kind of like a nice place to stop, because otherwise I'll just go into another prompting like playground area and just kind of like lose myself. So does anyone have any questions or thoughts or anything that they want to share? I guess there hasn't really been any notes for this. I think all the prompts are simple enough that if you just pause on the YouTube re-recording, like when it goes live, you can like just type them out because they're not like elaborate. I like this bit. I like the sassy anti-tech. I might just add this into a codex because I think that would just like infuse the entire thing. Like I think just altering the codex a little bit. But yeah, I hope everyone has a really good weekend. I am gonna go on a walk and then have some hot pot. Oh, I'm glad you found it informative, Dylan. I hope you all experiment with like expand prompts. Yeah, don't forget to smash that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, all those cool things, and make some text replacement prompts. I want to see you all like text replacing everything. Like we need to just like play around, experiment, share. Like on Discord there is a prompt share channel. I would love it if you all share the things that you come up with so that we can just everyone can like get enthused and keep creating. Oh, I'm so glad that this is coming time for your editing, Jules. Good luck with it all. Oh my god, all my streams on re-record. That's a lot of live streams. I have rambled on for many hours. It's been lovely to have you here, Jack, and I can't wait to have you here next time. Oh, it's Thanksgiving. Okay, well, happy Thanksgiving to your everyone who celebrates it. And enjoy your pumpkin pie. Happy editing as well for all of you who are inspired to edit. I'm currently in the editing dregs, and it's nice to have a break and play around with some prompts. Playing around with AI is a huge amount of fun just to see what it can do, even when it won't ever be used. Exactly. It makes everything just so much more interesting, and yeah. Okay, well, with that, I will see you all on Wednesday. Not sure what the stream is, but it's gonna be a good one, of course. Bye for now.